Hey everybody, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Kieran. I like to help people with their spirituality, basically just help people navigate their awakening process and make sure that they're on the right path, right? I also do other things, tarot, twin flame stuff, whatever, okay? Today I wanted to do a video on the comfort zone and why you're basically pushed out of your comfort zone by the universe, what the benefits of that would be, and again, why that basically happens, okay? So there's a couple reasons why this happens and basically what you can expect and what the benefits of being pushed outside of your comfort zone are, okay? And I'm just going to go over them and list them real quick, all right? Cool, sounds good? Awesome. So the first benefit of being pushed outside of your comfort zone is, first and foremost, your brain goes into a type of survival mode, okay? Now what this means is when you're in survival mode, you are forced to grow and adapt, okay? Much, even from a scientific or psychological point of view, okay? Rather than just a spiritual one. As a person having a human experience, what happens is you're actually grabbing onto these different types of branches in order to survive. And you're not, instinctively, you're not going to be grabbing onto branches that are weak and that don't actually support you, okay? Just to go with the branch metaphor there, that wouldn't actually support you, because when you're in your comfort zone, you find yourself in a position to have a lot of branches because you're comfortable, you're sitting, you might be in a place that you've been in for a long time, a job, whatever it may be, some type of location, idea, whatever. You're in this place, okay? And you see all the branches available to you, but you're not really forced to grab onto any of them. And then when you do make decisions to grab onto some of the branches, you might not actually grab onto the right ones, right? Because there's nothing really pushing you to make any of those decisions or to even grab onto any branch at all. So you, in your own time, in your own comfort, decide that it would be a good idea to maybe grab onto this one. And then a lot of the times it breaks, right? And you fall back into your comfort zone and you go, well, it didn't work out, but at least I'm comfortable. And you don't really have to do anything, okay? You don't have to make any real progress or change, okay? If an idea fails, it doesn't matter, okay? But it also, on the downside of that, can mean that you can get stuck in stagnation, right? And definitely treat yourself a little bit worse than you might have if you're in survival mode, if you're actually outside of your comfort zone. Because when you're outside of your comfort zone, you don't really have time to feel guilty about shit. You just don't. You don't really have time to be feeling sad or sorry for yourself, I should say, right? Everybody has bad days, but you do not have the opportunity or the time to truly wallow in some type of negative space or negative energy, because you just don't have time. There's just no time to do that stuff, okay? So what happens with this, being pushed outside of your comfort zone, and the benefit of that, again, is that survival mode, is you're now forced to grab onto the branches that support you, because you're actually taking what resonates with you now. You're instinctively, intuitively, because you are growing at a deeper level, you're going to grab onto the things that make sense to you, okay, that you actually resonate with, that are familiar to your actual core soul, right? So if you're pushed out of some job and you're trying to find a new one, well, what's going to happen is that job wasn't meant to be, right? So you lost that job because it's no longer part of your path. So the next job, presumably, is going to be something that pushes, or that is on your correct path or your new path, right? It's not really correct or wrong. It's the old one just is outdated now, okay? It served its purpose, no longer does. So you have this new one that is going to serve your purpose. But then, so say like you needed, this job is going to be more in tune with who you really truly are, okay? The aspects of yourself that you might not have really developed and not really have made sense of before, okay? Because you're in your comfort zone and you didn't really need to, okay? And so when you're in survival mode, you don't have a lot of time to wallow in self-pity, okay? There's no time to watch all those episodes of Netflix, whatever show you're watching, with a tub of Rocky Road ice cream. There's just no time to be doing that shit. I wish there was. I'd love to dip my whole face in a bunch of ice cream right now, but I can't, because I'm not in comfort mode right now, I'm a little bit in comfort mode. I haven't even made my bed, so obviously a little bit of comfort, a little bit of comfort mode going on. But that stuff's about to change, and that's why, of course, I'm doing this video as well, is because I instinctively know that I'm about to be thrust out of my comfort zone, and so it makes sense for me to share it. Okay, so this is obviously for me as well. I don't watch my own videos, but I assume I know what I'm talking about. So, okay, but that's basically the first element of it, is you do get into this survival mode. Okay, and that's a benefit, because you do grow. You're forced to really just to really expand everything. Okay, and so the old basically dies away, and that's a good place to transition into, because the second point, or the second benefit of being pushed outside of your comfort zone, is that the old does die away. Now again, this is going to be places, people, things. I don't mean literally dies, though they could, of course, unfortunately. Or fortunately, I don't know, if you hate your parents and you want them to die, I don't know, yikes, right? But probably not like that as a person. But ideally, right, not going to be physical death, but it's a metaphor, okay? So the job that ended, that I mentioned, right? Old friends, okay? I used to have I don't want to say a large social group, but I used to have lots of people that I knew, okay, or at least the same types of friends, okay, but I've outgrown those types of friends, okay, and I don't think they're watching, but if they are, I outgrew you, okay, sorry, but that's what happened, all right? So, and this is what happens with many people throughout their life, is they are called to new paths and new people and new directions, right? So the old goes away, okay, and you'll notice this before you're actually pushed out of your comfort zone. A lot of the stuff that you've accumulated, dead weight, dead energy, okay, it's actually about to go away, or they have been going away, okay? And you might be feeling a little bit stagnant, because those things do tend to go away right before you're pushed out of your comfort zone, okay? The friends go away, the habits, okay, old habits. I used to have some habits that really don't serve me anymore, and so I've gotten rid of a lot of them, okay? Now, there's still some that linger, or maybe come up every full moon or something, but mostly they're really well taken care of now, because of the level of self-care that I've put into, or the amount of being pushed outside of my comfort zone has actually already happened. I've been pushed out of my comfort zone specifically quite a lot, emotionally, physically in my life, of sure, but just in the recent months, definitely emotionally, definitely mentally, okay? Starting a lot of new chapters in my life. The only thing that's really waiting on me, or waiting on the universe, or both really, to really change is my environment, okay? The place that I live is no longer resonant with me, and I know on an intuitive level that come September I won't be in this house anymore. There won't be those drapes, curtains in the background, okay? I probably wouldn't buy those curtains if I had a choice, though I know nothing about curtains, so who cares, right? But these things die. Habits die, okay? I've had something I've struggled with all my life, which is biting my nails, okay? I'm not going to show you my nails, but suffice to say, they're fucking gross. So, I guess I do it as a nervous thing. I usually do it when I'm bored, almost more than anything, but when I think inside of my head, I like bite my nails. Almost in the same cliche way that when you have that typical, person who's thinking, they do like the chin thing, where they put their hand on their chin, whatever, that whole thing. For me, biting nails, okay? And that's a habit that I don't like, and one that I really want to get rid of, because I also realize it's not only, it's also gross, okay? Health is just gross, okay? Much like Florida, it's just disgusting. So I don't want to do it anymore, right? And you know, bad for your teeth, lots of stuff, okay? That's a tiny little habit, but one that I'm more aware of, because again, the old dies. You're being pushed out of your comfort zone, things like that go away. Yeah, that's a small little thing. You can have a habit that's a lot larger, okay? Usually diet would be a huge thing. People need to change on their spiritual journey, right? As you become more aware of who you are and you want to take better care of yourself, and you don't really have to be spiritual to resonate with this, but when you are being forced to grow, things that are old die away, right? And it could be diet, relationships, people, friends, places, jobs, okay? So if you find yourself in this situation, you are being pushed out, but it is for a reason, which I'll get to. I'm alluding to, of course, this entire time. But that is the second reason, or the second benefit to being pushed out of your comfort zone, is the old dies, right? Because the new can come in, right? So number 3 is the increased awareness as your brain and your mind expands. Now, I don't mean your brain's literally expanding. That would be terrifying. But I do mean that metaphorically, that your awareness and your intuition and your ability to perceive the world around you expands very, very quickly, okay? And it does so in such a way that you don't really even have the time to think about it. It just happens naturally. And that would be at the point where I would snap my fingers, but I don't really know how to do that properly, so I'm not even going to try. But that's how quick it happens, okay? It does very, very quickly. The snap of fingers, flick of a light switch, right? You just adapt, you just go, and you start pushing yourself past things, because the things that once hold you back don't really matter anymore, right? Now, I mentioned this in a previous video, but it was a tarot reading. So if you don't watch me for tarot readings, you're watching this video, don't go back to the tarot reading. It wouldn't make any sense. But what I mentioned was that I am, I went back to school recently to do something for my music production business. Okay. Now with this, I realized that back in the past, I used to hold myself back from speaking up in class. Okay. Because as a kid, I was very shy, and some of that really, I guess, stuck with me. It was weird doing YouTube videos, like weird stuff to do when you have that shyness about you. But ultimately, okay, I held on to that stuff. And when I'm in class now, this particular year, at this particular point in my life, when I have those feelings, instead of letting them control me or listening to them, I just go against them. And I'm fine with doing it. I don't have to think about it. I just do it, okay? And that's what happens, okay, when you're pushed outside of your comfort zone, right? You just don't have time to go back to that, right? Your awareness in your brain is expanding on such a level and in such a way that that the old stuff that is still inside of you, you just overcome it easily. The challenges that were once very, very hard, you don't have time to think of them as hard, because your perspective is changing. And when your perspective expands, right? If you were living in this little bubble, whatever, this is a shitty version of a bubble, but if you were living in here, right? And everything and all your fears and all your habits and all the old stuff were in this bubble, and you're being pushed outside of your comfort zone, and suddenly it's like this, then all that stuff that was in here, that doesn't matter anymore, because now you're here. So it just doesn't matter, right? It would almost be like the equivalent of, a large scale tragedy versus a personal tragedy, okay? Personal tragedy would be very, very deep and profound, right? Because it's affecting you. But if there's a huge tragedy in the world where tens of thousands of people have died, it's so massive that it makes your personal tragedy seem insignificant, right? Now, that's a very dark example, and of course I don't mean to say that any personal tragedy isn't significant to your life. That's why you're having it. But what I do mean is that when things become more expanded and more objective, it puts your own personal stuff into perspective, and it makes you basically able to just let go of all the things that aren't serving you. And that could be, of course, pity, guilt, denial, pain, right? You just have to go past it. There's just a time and a place where the universe decides that you're ready, and that's what happens, right? So again, awareness just grows exponentially, and you just keep up with it, like two parallel lines forcing, always going with each other, okay? So number 3 would be a benefit would be you find your destiny and your life path, okay? New directions, right? I mentioned this a little bit before, but basically, when you are pushed outside of your comfort zone, this happens for a reason, and it is pushing you into a place and a time and a direction and a way of being that's actually more beneficial to who you really are, okay? Because the old wasn't good, and so now there's something beautiful, okay? And it is weird, but when you find yourself in some type of dark place, some type of dark wasteland, or you're stagnated a little bit, you're in a place that you really don't like, and the universe suddenly decides, okay, you know what, it's time for you to get the hell out of here. Let's push this guy out. Let's get him, he or she, or whatever pronoun people are going by these days, get them out of there, okay? So when that happens, and you are out of your comfort zone, you're now onto a path that you could not have predicted before. Okay, obviously nobody really chooses to get out of their comfort zone, okay? And if they do, it's more smaller steps first, right? Rather than all at once. So when that happens, you're now onto a new path. You were heading down this direction, and boom, you hit this unexpected moment, and now you're going here. This is the way that you're going now. And so that is your true destiny. Because what happened was something completely out of your control, right? It was the universe, it was destiny, however you want to view that, God. It's all the same thing. It really doesn't matter. It just happened, okay? Completely outside of your control, and now you're going this way. Okay? Now this could be with anything. Of course, this doesn't even have to be negative, okay? This could be something as simple as a person, right? Somebody coming into your life who you never expected to meet and changes your view on everything because you see them with love at first sight. Oh, fuck, right? It could be something as simple as that, which is beautiful, but that would ultimately, of course, change your life, okay? And people always want love, but we often never get it because we're really not ever truly ready for it. And then when it happens, you're blown away and it changes your life, okay? Any relationship that's true love would change your life, would change your direction in your life. Even if it isn't true love, it would still in some way change your life dramatically, okay? So that's even what I'm talking about. But of course, this could mean moving, job loss, or everything, okay? So many things could happen. So that's, of course, up to the personal life journey that you're on at this time. But the idea is that it is putting you into your right path, your direction that you're supposed to be going in. Something that's going to benefit you, lead you to something better, okay? So keep that in mind. Very, very simple. Number 4, or whatever number I'm on, I lost count, is you meet the people that you need to, okay? And you have the ideas that you're meant to. So being pushed out of your comfort zone is basically like the best way to network, because not only do you have to meet people to get into a new situation, you also want to meet new people because you've left an old situation, okay? And what you often discover when you're in a new life, okay, when you've been thrust into something new, is that you now have the opportunity and the foresight, is it foresight? Hindsight. The hindsight to look back and realize what has really not worked for you and who hasn't worked for you, okay? And that's actually going to allow you to take stock of who you are and what you actually want. And you're going to realize that I would have been a lot better if I had these types of friends. And you're going to naturally find those types of friends, okay? So I'll give you a small example because I'm in college classes again, and to me, from my perspective, college is hilarious because everybody takes things so seriously, and I'm just like, holy shit, this doesn't matter. But that's just me, okay? But what I noticed, right, because there's so many people there, is I noticed like a lot of guys, you know, around my age, very, very focused on being cool, okay? Quote unquote cool, right? Either the clothes or the attitude. And what's cool isn't like smiling or showing emotion or even being like free and open. What's cool is considered being like, you know, like being stoic, okay? That idea, that whole male, like not showing emotion thing. I notice a lot of guys my age do that, okay? Now, in the past, I used to want to be friends with those people, okay? I have no problem admitting that. I used to, of course, try to be like that, but it wasn't me, it wasn't natural, okay? So I'm not really like that anymore. But what's funny is that talking to them now, okay, is like, it's mind-numbing. And I don't even mean this to be negative, or maybe slightly, but the idea is that trying to talk to them is like trying to talk to a wall. And I used to actually want to be friends with these types of people because they were cool, right? And now I realize that I'm out of my comfort zone. I'm past this point in my life. I don't need to be friends with these people just because they think they're cool. Do you know what I mean? Of course, I was forced to talk to them, partners and stuff like this, but I realized that like they have nothing interesting to say, and that's not who I am, right? I'm not somebody that needs to hang out with cool people that do like cool things but at the expense of myself. And you might not be in that same position either. And what happens when you get outside of your comfort zone is really you're forced to meet new people who actually do resonate with you on a deeper level. But of course, that means expanding what you think people should look like, what they should be like, what they dress like, something as simple as that, okay? What they wear, who they are. I think I'm just repeating myself now. I'm trying to find something that's different than what I've been saying. The way they talk, etc. Okay, the types of individuals, the people, it just expands. Okay, again, all about that expansion. So you meet new people, and you realize that the people that you really do resonate with are completely different than the ones that you've tried to be friends with in the past. Okay, and that's just one example Okay, but you get the idea, I think. So I think I have listed all of those things. I think that was 4 or 5 things, okay? Now, what I really wanted to talk on to now is basically why this would happen. Now, I've, of course, talked about it a little bit throughout my video so far of each and every reason why these would happen, but why does the universe push you out of your comfort zone? Why are these things happening? You know, these benefits, of course. At the end of the day, the ultimate goal of yourself and of the universe here, because you are basically one and the same, okay, would be for your highest good. Okay, again, everything that's happening, that's causing you to be pushed out of your comfort zone, that's forcing you to grow, forcing you to be aware, that is ultimately for one huge reason, okay, and it would involve becoming a master, okay, becoming a master of your life. You cannot become a master of anything unless you fail, for sure, unless you try, definitely, unless there's persistence and keep trying, again, obviously, and unless you haven't, time, okay? It takes experience. Time plus experience, you know, over crying equals master, okay? It's kind of the formula. It takes a lot of pain and stuff to get you to become a master. And when you're pushed out of your comfort zone, it's actually a very, very good sign, because if you were in an old place where the cycles weren't working and everything was going wrong for you, then though you might now be pushed out of your comfort zone, you can realize that the only thing that was keeping you in a negative state and the reason that why things weren't working was because you were in your comfort zone, not because you weren't ready, not because there was something wrong with you. And that's very, very important to realize. And something that I definitely want to say to everybody, who's ever watching this video, okay? If you find yourself in a position, okay, in a cycle, if you will, again, where everything is going wrong for you, it is not because there's something wrong with you. It is because you are in a place that does not serve you, spiritually, emotionally, whatever, okay? All your aspects of your life, it's just not for you anymore. And when you're pushed outside of your comfort zone, the universe is saying, look, man, or girl, right? It wasn't you. It was just where you were. That's it. You were fine. You're perfect who you are. Sure, you like, you know, whatever it is that you like, or you might do these things, and you might have had some feelings or habits, whatever. Sure, this is the type of person that you've carried so far, okay? Sure, there's some things that you don't really like having, okay? Maybe you're like me and you eat too much popcorn. I ate a lot of popcorn. I don't know why. I just love popcorn, I guess. But the idea is it doesn't matter, okay? You don't have to be perfect to get what you deserve. And the universe is going to show you that, or that's why you are pushed out of your comfort zone, because it is going to show you that you are actually a master the entire time. And the only reason that you weren't a master, you haven't stepped into that role, is because there was no reason to, because you were in your comfort zone, and now you're out of your comfort zone. Okay, and then as you become a master, what happens is you become the comfort zone. You don't rely on an outside situation to make you a master. You rely on yourself to be the master, and so your setting in your life becomes a reflection of you. Okay, but ultimately it is very scary, of course, and a lot of it happens unexpectedly. And not all of it is bad, and even if it is bad, it's of course going to be a hidden blessing. But all the stuff that's going to be happening, if you find yourself in this position, which you might be, of course, if you are watching this type of video, then you should know that everything is going to work out, and that this is actually all heading in a good direction for you, and good news is on the way, and ultimately you're going to be getting all the things that you want. But first, you have to be pushed out of your comfort zone, because first you need to realize, the universe wants you to realize who you are. And that's only going to be good news, right? Only good things are going to happen once you leave a situation that doesn't work anymore, okay? So I'm pretty hopeful for me. I got some faith, all right? I know that I won't be in this house anymore. I've been saying a lot in my life that I just am sick of where I live, and I know very, very soon I won't be here anymore, okay? I don't know how. I mean, I know that I'll have the money to, but I don't know where I'll be going or in what version it will look like. I just know that it will happen, okay? So you guys hold on to the faith and believe, and I think that's pretty much it, all right? So I hope that helped, guys. Let me know if it did, if it resonated, and of course, add anything that you feel that you want to add to this video. Put it in the comment section. All right, guys, thank you so much, and you guys have a wonderful weekend. All right, thanks, guys. Appreciate it.